inexplicable. I can feel it in the air. Can you feel me?
Welcome to Padova EYUC 2023. We are starting with the first game in the mixed division. France taking on Hungary. I'm Christina Obermeyer, joined by Steph Pazzo. How are you doing, Steph?
Oh, fantastic. Loving all the action here. Loving taking it all in. It has been a wonderful start to this week. And this one promises for more wondrous affairs. Of course, defending champs, the Hungarians, taking on hot up-and-comers, the French, who also did very well in this division last time around. And of course, have just been getting stronger and stronger over the years in the mixed division, culminating with their EUC Open Age division, of course, finished last week as champions there. So this one's set up to be a big match. Hungarians have their sights set. Christina asked the question before the game, what are your expectations and goals before this one? And very clearly and simply, same as last year was the response. And we just asked the following question. So to win, and yeah, to win was the answer out of the Hungarians. So they're here for gold. The French here to prove themselves on every new stage. We are set up for a humdinger, and the humdinging only moments away now.
That's going to be an exciting match. France, as you mentioned, third last time around, or third seed here at this tournament, in Hungary, obviously first seed. Some people also coming from the under-17 division of the Hungarian side. And the French team, almost all of them, have not played under-20 yet and are looking to prove themselves in that higher age division. Some of them, too, actually, have been in the final last year at JJUC, of course, getting a silver medal at Worlds, which is a really impressive thing and a great experience for all these players. And we'll see what they can carry over from last year and how they have improved.
Only time will tell now. It is all set to happen. The Padovian Ants continue to dominate our booth, but we are doing our best to put them in their place as the wind picks up. It's evident here in the booth. Let's see if it remains evident on the field. It was very calm this morning, short of a few moments of gustiness. It remains relatively calm, though the winds are picking up just a touch.
A little bit. I think you can see the bleachers on the other side, and they are narrowing up the wind a little bit as Hungary are starting on offense. Mikas. Dukola not over the top, small figure, but don't let that be fooled as you see her getting up that big shot into the end zone. Two French defenders throwing that disc, pushing that disc out of bounds, and Clement can't do anything but play defense now as France with an opportunity to break.
Great swarming defense by the French to give themselves an opportunity.
Yeah, Tugusha. And a pick call will stop, and Mea gets the disc back into her hands. Up the line, works out. And a deep shot immediately got into space and he has room in the end zone, and that's a break for France to start the game.
Well-weighted throw over the bigger defender. Looked like the Hungarian defender was going to have a chance on that for a second, Benestoth, but the throw was perfect, bang on, lifted above, and a nice way to start the game against the champs if you can put a break on the board that early in the contest.
Indeed, not a lot of cuts downfield for the Hungarians, and then it only took them 3 shots, the French, and you see that here perfectly weighted, pushing the defender towards the sideline, and then getting that arc back. You see a drone shot as well. Well, they drew that up.
Yeah, it looks good from every angle. We love to be able to bring you the newest aerial angle.
One interesting thing to note is France have a very big roster of over 20 people, whereas the Hungarians only have 15 people.
Yeah, they're doing it tough. I mean, they're young, these kids. Yeah, they've got some ticker, but you might be asking a lot on day 5, 6, and 7 if you carry a short roster. But they're the champs.
Kolanat to McGarry. And France with his own now, but Hungary very well. Very good at playing it over the top, and you see that big gainer into Clement. Giving and going.
Oof.
And a catch at the second attempt, just in front of the end zone now. McGarry looks for an option, very static from the Hungarians, and now everyone's running at once. And a violation of some sort. And that is what happens when too many players start running at once. You get a collision, you get a pick or a foul. Foul is a symbol here, and it's going to be accepted. McGarry goes scuba over the top, tipped, and put away.
Tipped, macked, bounced off ahead, and finally to the ground. The Hungarian O-line a little uncrisp there. They were asked, a couple of catches were sloppy. I like a scuba any day of the week, but that one into just a bit too much traffic.
France, 2 points and already the second break opportunity. They're going up the line, they're going to lay out defense. Ferenc Clement, what are you doing?
Clement gets horizontal, gets it right back for this O-line. Hungary need this one.
Kolanat, standout player for them, puts a disc into play. McGarry to Halas. Kolanat to Clement, and they're going over the top again, and someone was bound to catch that, but not quite. And France again on the way to get a second break in that second point. Chantron. And another layout D, giving chances back to Hungary. McGarry showing up. And the timeout called on the Hungarian side. That took a lot for them.
A couple big Hungarian layout Ds there to get the disc back when they needed it. But the French team, you got to give it to them right now. They have come out firing, forcing the timeout. The Hungarians are doing everything they can to stay in it as we check out these replays to finish up this big second point.
Great grab there from Clement, doing every other, losing the hat again.
There's the speculative scuba over the top. And a pair of Ds coming up, so we've got more highlights coming at you.
The thing is about, that it was so close to the camera as well, and excited about that. The thing is with these Hungarian players, you can see they're taller than the French, and they're trying to use it. I bet that's part of their game plan, using the height they have. The second layout here, but the French are very good at jumping at the right moment, denying these overhead shots most of the time.
So one break on the board already for the French. Haven't put their O-line on the field yet, and a extended second point.
And Megieri will takes that disc on the sideline right in front of our camera. And this zone setup for France to start. Poulanat to the far side, and now slowly advancing. Megieri all the way to the other side. Kokai. Looks for an option and goes back again. Not a lot of movement through that zone from the Hungarians, but they don't need it as their open players left, right, and center. And a big shot goes up into the end zone and misread by the Hungarian player. That was a weird angle.
Yeah, a bit of a misread, a bit of a hopeful throw as well. A lot of air under it. A lot can go wrong when you hang it up that long. Receiver definitely had a chance, but that throw could have just been a bit sharper too. Found a different angle of attack and made a bit more sure of it. Less chance for the wind to play defense.
Indeed, so that French zone works out well, and they get the third break opportunity of this point. Gunon to Monera, and hits Natch, but goes back instead. That disc floats high, and with the layout grab, he gets it. And a defense now, frustration.
A huge bid there by the number 13 shirt, Fernandez, to keep that going, and then squandered, and it's straight back to the Hungarians.
And a big put right away, floating and hanging, and a layout defense by the French. Wow, that was a big play, and a very much needed one of that.
French doing everything in their power to not give up a single point right now. And so far, so good. This point extending very long thus far. Oh, wow, what a play to deny a goal there.
Chantreau gets horizontal for the French. And Perez will put the disc into play. Monera looks for an option, not a lot there. Finally gets a gainer, and a big disc goes up. Players underneath it, and a defense by the Hungarians.
Yeah, D was there, also just a bit overhead. I think got blinded by it, couldn't squeeze the hands, a little bit of both. Inability to make the catch, coupled with the tight D.
Poulanat going sideline and trying to get it in, but that disc left her hands early, and France can advance. Not so sure who's going to pick up that disc. Everyone walking very slowly. Chantron puts it into play. Goes inside, and a miscommunication, but caught by Gounon, and she's going to put it in for the second break in a row for the French.
Wow, how good is Gounon? The ability to pick that one up and then turn and jack it right away on the spot into the end zone. No hesitation, clearly no fear of making an error there. That's what you want. 2 breaks on the board to nothing for the Hungarians. They're going to have to put their O-line out there for a 3rd time now. And as we said, starting with a short roster, they don't have many options to modify here.
They don't, but knowing these players, they've been in these situations before. They've about the same team have been playing together with limited rosters in European Championships 2 weeks ago and last year's Junior Championships. I think they have it in them to get the energy and to switch that flip. It's just the first game of the tournament for them, and they might still have to adapt to the conditions. Good pull, and nearly a dropped pull by Kolainat, but manages to hang on to it. Takash, her first appearance on the field, together with Chelak. Clément goes back to Takash. And that zone of the French really slowing them down. A high disc, but the tall frame of Clement gets it. Migueri now on this far side, trapped. And Clement and Migueri go every other. Nakasha now, Kolainat, and they're giving and going, changing the rhythm of their offense. Match again to Clement. Working it in the hands. Clement gets it, fakes the big hammer. Opts to not do that this time. Kolainat opens up the field. Layout bid comes up short as Migueri puts it up into the end zone, and that's a score. Layout after that, the first point on the board for Hungary.
Yeah, Hungarians finally get one in. Kolar Nagy showed up in the middle of that play and put a nice outside in arcing throw to maintain possession and really spread the field open. That led to the Migueri score. This is what we expect out of the Hungarians, to be able to put these goals on the board even after 2 French breaks. But the French, even there, the Migueri reception was, it had a layout on the hip. This French team is very athletic, and they are not afraid to throw their bodies around. If their depth can come into play here, they're going to be able to hang with and maybe take one from the Hungarians and maintain the early game lead they've got. This advantage will help at the end of the game no matter what.
We'll see what their O-line can do. We haven't seen them yet. Only D points so far for the French.
And the O-line's going to have to be sharp enough if they're going to be able to get this D-line that's looking good back on the field.
A big pull that lands in the back of the end zone. Look at that beauty. Ulemi and Faliago. Nondli. Loads of work put on by the stack of the French, and the very open player on the far side is hit. Godon finds an up-the-line option in Charest. Pinned on the sideline now are the French, and trying to stay there and bailed out with a toe drag. And up the line again, but that one put into the ground, couldn't quite hang on to it, and Hungary get a break chance of their own.
Yeah, couldn't hang on, but asking for quite a lot, throwing that one in that hard. Filemi couldn't hang on, but really didn't have a chance.
Takash to Kolainatan, a zippy throw up the line, now in the middle of the field. Clement takes the high release, break, and gives it. Takash working with Kolainatan. They're going every other now. Redeems himself, giving and going. A pick called, and there was a lot of players in the vicinity and switch of this possession quickly. Takash for an option and finds Lenat in a bump, causes the Hungarian player to lose the disc. Accepted foul. Takash just in front of the end zone, zips it in there, and double layout gets the D for the French.
In eventuality there, that was Genoun who got it back. It was his throw earlier in the sequence that was a little bit too sharp to complete, and well, he gets these heroics very late in the sequence to prevent the break against.
Monli dishing it far and wide, and a timeout called for the French as they're looking to hold. And a communication about that timeout.
I just saw him count out 3 steps. Maybe they're talking about the double team before they go into timeouts. I'm not sure, but we did see him walk out, pace out 3 steps.
Maybe he had already put on the stall and was too far away either. Oh. We'll watch them take a break and get composed, and we'll take a short break as well and be back with you soon.
We live in a world where everything can be referenced online. Imagine if the greatest moments in our sport were never filmed. Eurodisc continues to do what it takes to make free-to-watch live streams a reality. Let's leave nothing to the imagination. We'll consume the action live, and we'll support those that help to make it happen. If it wasn't streamed, it didn't happen. Eurodisc.
What a grab! Oh my! Somehow they do it! On break!
We are back live after the timeout. The French got the disc back and are in their red zone, just in front of the end zone, to get their first hold of the game after starting with 2 breaks. Monli with the disc, not in his hands yet, but waiting to pick it up. Goes around, and that disc very low and hits the grass early. Takash to Naj. Takash again. She has a big arm Oh, and that's nearly a D, but caught by the Hungarians and overshoots. Miscommunication with Clement. The French are taking their sweet time at picking up that disc. Godon with the inside, and the continuation on the break side works for the score. That was beautiful from the French. At the third time around, they managed to hold.
The D-line last time of asking made them work very hard. And now the French pop in another one, and that with another 4 turnover point there. The last time of asking, though, the Hungarian hold was a clean hold, but took them 30 passes, 29 passes to get. So the pressure is on the Hungarians here, the defending champs, because this French side is coming out hot at 3-1.
Indeed, it looks like they're, as you mentioned in the previous point, more composed, chill, just, you know, playing the Frisbee, as the Hungarians, on the other hand, like trying to really push it through. And that, with a disc, that doesn't always work too well. Like the wind picks it up or pushes it down. And another good pull lands in the end zone. Clement with it. Kolanaj. Working again with Takash. Those two hardly ever stopped by the defense. Oh, and that nearly a defense again by France. Megieri to Kolanaj. And a big arcing flick around to Clement, and that is clinical offense by Hungary.
If they're going to play that style, well, it's time to start bringing it. That is clinical, but it's a little bit looser. They're throwing these arcing blades. They're going over top of defenders. They're not necessarily waiting patiently for cuts to develop. They're seeing upfield shots and backing themselves to have the throws. This throw goes over 5 players. They all had no chance because the throw was clean and into the basket. So the Hungarians show what they can do playing from behind. They can show that they can score quickly when necessary. And they put one on the board, bring it back to within 1. Still a break in favor of the French, or still 2 breaks in favor of the French.
But this looks more like what I expected from the Hungarian side, and the way they're playing now, or they played that last point, just shows you why they are the reigning European champions in the mixed division. But they're, as you said, they're trailing by 2 breaks. And they'll have to get them back quickly rather.
With their defense on the field, like right now.
Perez goes around, and nearly a defense by the Hungarians, but works out, and Perez is giving and going to the far side. Caro. Perez. Nice distributing of these nifty breaks there by Perez, and gets it back again just in front of the end zone. Caron over to the side, and Perez keeps his fingers around that disc that is behind his body.
And that point showed opportunity to get the D there for the Hungarians. There was a moment where Toth was centimeters away from a D, and as soon as the D was missed, the poached space was taken advantage of by the French. They threw 3 or 4 quick passes, put themselves in the middle of the field, and ran a very efficient end zone offense. So the French, unfazed by the defensive chance, and in fact, the opposite of unfazed, just took advantage with the compromised defense that remained upfield, and with another hold, push things back to a 2-point margin. And remember, the French will receive to start the second half. It's already 4-2.
Clean holds on either side after having to find the rhythm a little bit. Both teams seem like they've arrived at the field in Padova. Konanac and Luka Dakash playing in the hander set. They're going to pull double duty again and again for that Hungarian side. Both of them have been playing forever and know just where to put themselves in a position where they can be beneficial for their team. It's zone setup, slowing them down, but they always find the spaces to put the disc. Takash. And now they find Kononat on the side. Up the line for Megieri. Quebec. Clement. Back to Takash. Just really standing and waiting for a player to get open are the Hungarians, and they make it, but beneath that first wall or line of players, and Takash approaching the end zone for the Hungarians. And now the big shot goes up, and that's a score for Megieri.
Hungary going back to a more conservative attacking style that time, taking their times to go through the hands, waiting for cups to develop a little bit more. So showing a little bit of what they can do in two different senses, an aggressive attacking style and a conservative attacking style. But after getting broken twice to start the game, they're now showing efficiency no matter what, in two different manners, with urgency or with patience. They're getting it done 2 in a row now.
Indeed, and this is also how you get through a zone. Mix up the urgency of giving and going, and then once you've given and gone a few times, wait for a second, look what changed on the field, and just maybe attack from a different angle, and they're doing that really well.
So the French get their O-line back on the field. Of course, the French O-line has been, well, perfect in a sense that they've held 2 for 2. Their first time they did it with 2 turns. Their second time was a clean hold. Let's see what they have here.
A pull that lands in the back of the end zone is collected though at Hungary with a zone of their own that looks very similar to what the French put up on D as well. Trapped on the sideline and pushed back into their own end zone. Negre goes up, and that is a bobble and a foul called by the French thrower. The mark was around her, but I couldn't really see. We'll get a look here again. Good catch and then throws, and the Hungarian player does put his arm in there.
Yeah,
in the mix.
Looks like what I would describe as a foul. The Hungarian player came around the throwing side into the moving arm, and it is an accepted foul.
Indeed, the right outcome on the field. And from what we saw, and French keep the disc. A big mark. Broken though, and they're off to the races. So many players touching the disc, and that's one too many.
Woo! What a play there, getting horizontal and taking it away, and they're so happy about that, they're going to talk about it in a timeout.
Red zone for Hungary. They'll take a breather and try to get one of the breaks back, and we'll do that as well. After looking at some highlights in that one. Just bobbling off the hands as we take the same break the players do and leave you with a few messages. We are back live here. Hungary with a break opportunity in their red zone. And Kokai with the throw to Tokash, but shaken up player as the help defender came from the back.
Yeah, Takas went down there. I thought it was a nice defensive effort, but there was definitely breaching a little bit of the personal space there that Takas would have been expecting. Here's another look.
It's always a tough bit because both are taking that line, but Takash has no idea the player is coming from behind.
Yeah, I think the French player would have had to go behind there and then bid to avoid the contact, but trying to cut in front of that player while he could see her, but she couldn't see him. I think that play should count as a foul. It's contested. So he thought that he got there cleanly enough. He's entitled to that opinion.
So the disc will go back to Kokai. Hold on, Nudge. Goes flick blade again. Signature throw, and that's a score for the Hungarians. That's the break they needed, and what kind of fashion did they do it? Miksha towing the line for the score.
Number 81, Miksha, making it work there. A nice bit of side-to-side action. Happy to see the Hungarians score it twice there after a semi-contentious call. Here's another look. That well done with the footwork there. I thought on the second effort he was going to launch the right foot off the ground, but he didn't. Looks like we've got another timeout, Christina.
Yeah, it does. And that is probably the last time I will see this half, as both of them have used it. And we'll take a short break and be back with you in a few seconds. This wasn't actually a timeout, just people going together, standing together in circles on both sides. Nonetheless, Hungary have used both their timeouts. And the French are on offense, trying to minimize the damage and keeping their break lead. Mondli to Ellwood, but a travel called on Mondli. And a discussion about that travel as well. So discussion about where the plays are placed, and they've figured it out now. Godon to Ellwood and back to Godon. Manipulates the mark and has to go down to catch it, but Medlin does so. Ellwood in a very good position and puts it to the sideline. Fulemi over the top, giving and going and moving from one side to the other are the French. Arcing blade into Mondler. Back into the middle. Advancing now and far side, too far.
A shame there. That was looking good by the French, but to call out Godon for the nice upline throw he had that looked to set things up, but one throw too many or one too few, but it's back in the hands of the Hungarians.
Clement asking for someone to run, and he gets a reset off. Takash to Kolenat. You'll see them barely leaving the field, and Clement thinks better of that huck. Player maybe a little too deep already, and has to go with the huck regardless. Two players battling for position, and that's a score for Hungary. The height difference making something.
Stall out called on the other end.
Accepted as well as the hand signals show. It's a turnover right here, and that's a very different outcome to that sequence.
Yeah, a score or a turnover 20 meters from your end zone. That is a reversal of fortunes. And the French gonna get a very nice look at a short field here after seemingly being skied for a goal. It will be Godon coming into the flank position to help out the French.
Godon has it now, and a bump off the chest will give the disc back to Hungary, and maybe a better position if with a few yards lost. Bail out, and Clement skying the help defender. Kokai gets it, puts it out into space for Kolanach. It's floating and floating out the side. Not enough angle on there. And that's always the risk with the shots on the end zone line, on the sideline.
Yeah, outside ins, you gotta hope they come back. Need to leave enough in on that outside.
And they're gonna walk it up the field a little bit. On the other side already giving and going. Medlin getting every other here. Ligaro now. And that's a layout bit, but caught on the second attempt by Charest. And that one was to nobody and hits the ground after two Hungarian defenders also can't catch it. Kolanaj. Dakash. Up the line again to Kolanaj. Screaming in frustration as Dakash, as the disc has to go up high to the side and nearly catches it, but not quite. Apologizes as well. The French pressure mounting on the Hungarians.
Great defensive effort there by Caligaro to get the D there. A bigger target, but Caligaro took the position away, got up the ladder earlier, and we have another timeout on the field. It is 4-4 with less than 60 minutes remaining. We were talking about the last game moving at a scorching pace, this moving at a snail's pace. A lot of work to score in this game.
Indeed, both teams not getting the better of the other, but they're both going to try and set up something new as they're taking the time out, and we'll get back to you with the rest of this game.
We live in a world where everything can be referenced online. Imagine if the greatest moments in our sport were never filmed. Eurodisc continues to do what it takes to make free-to-watch live streams a reality. Let's leave nothing to the imagination. We'll consume the action live, and we'll support those that help to make it happen. If it wasn't streamed, it didn't happen. Eurodisc.
What a grab! Oh my, somehow they do it!
Always on the move? You can keep up to date with ULTI.TV on all of our social media channels. Like, follow, subscribe, share us with a friend, or send us a message just to say hey. Thank you for supporting us in our mission to grow Ultimate everywhere.
We are back live. No more timeouts in this first half. The French looking at some kind of pochi-zoni setup by the Hungarians as they try to hold after many, many turns. Villemi goes back to Manley. Godon getting every other, trying to take control of that French side. Mondly. Charret. To Godon again, and that one is down, bubbled, and lost for the French. They made it work for a little bit, but the Hungarians back with possession for at least the fifth time.
Second.
Kolanaj puts it up deep into the end zone. That disc is floating, and that's a score better than the last one she put up there.
Second break on the bounce for the Hungarians. First lead of the game for the Hungarians. That said, we're on serve, but it is the first time the scoreboard has shown favor to this Hungarian side. And as you have another look again here, a little bit of patience to get to this sideline, and then a great shot down the line, throwing to a trusted receiver. And there you see again the 56 shirt of Ben Stott cashing in for the Hungarians to go up by one. We are undoubtedly, you never know what could happen, but I don't think we're going to see a 7-8 with only 8.5 minutes remaining till the 45-minute mark. we're probably going to see a timed half here. So that could come into play, knowing that the French will get the disc back at some stage in the next 10 minutes. I'm sure they wouldn't mind that to come right after a break, or at least a
Definitely.
hold.
Yeah, definitely not. It's like the 2-for-1 kind of thing.
2 for none, sometimes. So that last point, a 7 turnover point, and no possession lasted more than 5 throws. Pardon me, on the French side, or on the Hungarian side. The French did mount 17 and 14 in 2 of their efforts in that multi-turn point that the Hungarians eventually broke on.
Caron with a high grab. Goes break. And up the far side. Fernandez. A lot of people looks for the hammer and gets it into the middle, and they're underway, trying to gain some yards, and they do so now. Chantron to Caron. And in a lot of space is good. Dumps back to Caron. And even further back, but moving to the other side of the field are the French, now still in their red zone. Push to make many passes, but the big one goes up now, and that is beautifully read by Fernandez, but maybe calling him out of bounds is Clement.
You've got to assume that's the call. He definitely looked straight to the ground. It was a nice catch by Fernandez. Here's another look. I'm not sure if we're going to get a clean look. We do have an aerial view, our high-angle camera, but tough to see that back line from here still. That one is in the hands of the players, and they've decided it was out.
Clement with the disc in his hand, and a defense by the French player, and shaken up after that.
Rabot very brave to step in front there. My opinion is very brave, but also if there's a foul, it's probably she initiated contact. I'm not sure we're going to get a call out of it. And the Hungarian player says no. That was a very brave play to make in this mixed division. When you step in front of a bigger man like that, yet you can put yourself in jeopardy, and she put her body on the line for the team there.
She might have just seen the disc, and she got it as well. Chantron back and around, and now they're knocking on the doorstep once again. They've been here before. Choosing the sacrifice yards. Caron to Chantron. Fernandez looks for an option. The Hungarian zone stays, calling a double team, I believe. High release to Caron. And around again. Low grab, caught. And another low one. Fernandez goes around to hit Charon. Nearly a D by the mark there for Hungary. Caron now just in front of the end zone, giving and going, and nearly there. Not quite though, and they choose to go around to the other side again. Falou. Are they in yet? Not quite. Still going side to side, and screams are a bit early as they go back around once again. Chantron working, trying to get it on the other side, far side of the pitch, but choosing to once again change possession. And now that works for Gouet for the score.
Gotta love the French patience and commitment there. They went sideline to sideline on multiple occasions.
Yeah, impressive stuff in the red zone for the French. They had so many changes off the side. Tried to punch it in near the line and then went back.
So 2 turnovers on that possession. The French, or the Hungarians, had it for 1 throw, gave it back, and the French, their 2 possessions for 47 throws combined, 16 and then 31. 31 on the second effort. They went sideline to sideline to sideline to sideline until the open look availed itself.
And then we got to remember that these 31 passes were all in the last third of the field, which is really impressive. I know a lot of teams couldn't keep the disc in front of the red zone without, you know, wanting to put one in. Just impeccable composure by the French. They are now back on defense. Their goal is to get a break and get back on top. Dakash to the far side. Migueri to Kolanaj. Clement on the other side of the pitch. Migueri goes up the line to a very open player and gets it back right away. That French zone not putting any pressure on the backfield. Clement all alone now in the hander set. Migueri looks for an option, wants to go hammer, but decides to break instead, and Kolanach is taking the risk, and Takash and Clement are on the race, off to the races. Involving more players now, and just in front of the end zone, jumping it in and snacking on that disc. It's Clement for the score.
And that all started, the French zone was looking good. Marin Perez was at the front in the middle, and he was staying disciplined through the middle, and one crossing cut, he went with it, and the huck from Kolar Nagy, not the huck, but the big gaining throw went through as he moved, and from there was no recovering. It was just upfield, 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 and the French were just backpedaling, trying to get back in position. And there's nothing they could do except watch that scoreboard flick over to 6-5 in favor of the Hungarians.
So we are at halftime now, 6-5 in favor of Hungary. We didn't even know that was a Galaxy point. But Hungary staying composed, and we'll see that jump in. Oh, Clement. And we will leave you with some aerial shots and take a quick break for half, and we'll be back with you after that.
We are a group of ultimate players, coaches and video enthusiasts. We've worked with the major federations and the greatest events.
We're on a mission to make Ultimate huge. We want our videos and live streams to be free to watch.
We want to make stories that not only reach you,
but also reach people outside the Ultimate community.
Like and subscribe, ULTI.TV, the best in the world.
Become a member
and fund our work to cover more events in the future and to bring more stories and live coverage to the eyes of the Ultimate world and beyond.
live. Still halftime, and both teams have taken to the shade to shield themselves from the sun in sunny Padua. Actually, not a lie this time. We'll look at some match stats. Steph, what jumps out to you?
Well, the clean holds, which is by the Hungarians, they got 4. They put their O-line on the field to start the game and couldn't manage a hold at all for the first 2 tries. And then since then, they've been all clean. So the Hungarians took a while to warm the motor up, but it's getting to 5th gear without too much trouble now. Beyond that, I mean, seeing the brakes level, the brake chances a little bit ahead for the Hungarians, and the clean holds a little ahead for the Hungarians. The French started with all the momentum, and the Hungarians are just slowly chiseling away, taking it back bit by bit by bit. Now ahead on serve. They both had 2 breaks, both did them sequentially. So they've both been on, well, Hungarians have been on a 3-point run because they used their 2 breaks to follow up a hold. The French used their 2 breaks to start the game. Any which way, it's a 1-point lead, and the team behind, France, will receive in the second half.
Yeah, the Hungarians fought their way back in. So they're getting ready to take the field again. Both teams really not on the pitch, but in the back under the tents to get as much shade as possible.
Looking up and down our stats sheet, see some Hungarian players, Megeri and Clement, doing a good job out there. Clement with 2 goals, 2 blocks, and a pair of turns. Megeri, 1 goal, 1 assist, 1 block, 1 pair of turns. The French side, it's a little bit more spread out. Chantron with a assist and a block. And Caligaro with a goal and a block, but a turn to go with it too. So nobody really taking over this game. Both teams with generally well-distributed contributions. And it sets us up well for a second half, even in a low-scoring affair.
Indeed. These players that, you know, are the highlight and maybe have few more stats on their tally will be the heroes for the early stages, but at the end of the tournament, will they be able to do the same thing after having so many games and tiring matchups that are just pushing them very far? Well, we'll have to see. We will see by the end of the week, but just favoring the French over the course of the week a little bit because they have evenly distributed stats and maybe a few more players that can actually do, like, take the load off the back of one or the other star that's on the team. Big pull goes up. French on the receiving end this time around. Caligaro to Meillard. High release and goes back around and switching sides. Filemi finds the reset late in the stall. And again, they're switching field position fully to the other side, and somehow manages to get his hands around that disc is Pierrot. Caligaro and Meillard working it down the field. Charret into the middle. Caligaro just in front of the end zone now. Charret with it. Goes back again, and clinical red zone offense. We've seen that before, and this time it works out quicker for the French. Philemi with the catch.
Nice way to start the second half for the French. Tie things back up at 6 and move it all the way upfield, going through every set of hands and putting one on the board in conservative fashion. 23 throws to get there. Not one that was really contentious. A couple catches that had maybe a sniff of a bobble on them. But really, those were just, you know, when you play against the zone D like that, there's always somebody that's open. And the French were taking their time to find that opening. A couple high stall counts, but never a moment where I believed that the turnover was coming imminently, short of them making a blatant mistake. And they did not make the mistake in those 23 passes.
Just a very clinical offensive hold from the French. Not something they've managed quite a lot before. Just 1 point to make it 2-4, where they did not turn over. Every other one was contested by the Hungarians of some sort.
Next pull coming up. While they're pulling, get on and like and subscribe and become a patron. Why not go on our Facebook and our Instagram too and follow there while you're at it.
And while you're at that, Hungary is back on offense. Clement finding Mighieri. Far side, and Mighieri gets it again on that inside shot. A pick call will stop play momentarily. Tight coverage from the French defense, but holds on to it. Mighieri again. Up the line to Halas. Mighieri. Clement. Going inside, and what a play! Woo! Flying through is Perez. High as the shoulders of his defender.
Get that man a cape. He is doing superhero business out there. He needs a superhero outfit to go with it.
Negre to Meillard. Mondli. Meillard goes around. Ellwood to Meillard. Oh, and that disc tried to catch it twice. Mondli, but doesn't get it at all. The Hungarians get it back on offense. Clement goes big with that arcing backhand into the end zone. Halas underneath it, and she collects it for the score.
The Hungarians not afraid to open things up, apparently. Clement just took a very deliberate pivot, big wind up, sets up the high elbow, outside in backhand, opens up the arm, and it was only ever going to be Julia Halas that was going to get that one. There's that D by Perez to get it for the French, and here's the scoring throw after the Hungarians get it back. That is a dime dropped, and the Hungarians looking good, staying ahead 7-6. Second half, these scores are coming a little bit cleaner, a little bit quicker, tidying up a bit. 14 throws that time for the Hungarians to find a way into the end zone.
Yeah, they always have that bailout shot at the end, but didn't need it too often yet, and it didn't work out every single time. But if you know you can put it up and you'll get it, that's a good asset to have. France will have to hold to stay with the Hungarians. Chantron distributing this again and again. Perez to Fernandez. Chantreau gives and goes. Goes low and flicks one through, and that one goes low on the wrong side rather. Finds the ground early. Migeri picks up for Hungary. Takash, Tot. The flying defender through, but the disc not released at all. Migeri. And a stoppage downfield. We'll stop play for a second. Migeri with the disc in his hands, marked by Fernandez. Considerable height difference, but still a very good defender on him. And he puts it up into the end zone. Two people around, and Takash is not phased by the help defender coming from the back. A break for Hungary.
Yeah, unfazed is the word there, Christina. Coming in, hearing those footsteps, seeing that crossing defensive traffic is normally enough to get a head turned and, you know, a little bit of attention diverted, but not the case that time. Takash maintains composure in spite of the crossing defensive patterns and hangs on to cash in a big goal, which is another break, the first break of the second half. And Hungary starting to put the foot down here and assert a little bit of dominance as Clement, Migeri, and Kolornagi really assert themselves into this game. And you see the goal scored there. Takash, another one with 3 points now, 2 assists and a goal. And these Hungarians are strengthening up.
Indeed. Takash, who has been playing with the Hungarian team for 3 years, silver medal under 2017 women's at EYUC in 2019, and the gold medal with the mixed team in the under 20 division last year. So not a newbie to these kinds of games.
Not their first kick at this can.
And of course playing with her best friends, Kokai and Kolajnaj. And they have a cute word for this, BFF plus F. Best friends forever. Plus F is on field. On field as much as off for these young Hungarians.
So 8-6 score line, 2 points away. Hungarians leaving their D-line on the field here, seeing if they can run this into a break train. It was 6-6, 2 on the bounce now. And the French want to put their second goal of the second half on the board.
Bueno. Chantreau and over to Vespini. Oh, and a nifty shot that expected too much out of Caron.
Yeah, tough one. Ground strip there, had it in her hand. Like that was all but caught until she bounced off the ground.
Takash still on the field. High release to Clement, who gets it with acres of space, and a high release again to get it back to Takash. Ups to go around instead of up the line. To Kubek. Kubek gets it back with a bit of a defender's hands in between that disc, but keeps it. And Clement finds Todt. Go back to Todt, the other Todt on the field. Go back, puts it into space, and that's a score. A third point in the row for Hungary.
Clement lost his bucket hat somewhere along that point. I barely noticed him as the score cashed in, but that is the least of their worries when they put 2 breaks in a row to follow up their hold. The Hungarians are showing why they are defending champs despite a very strong French initiation into this game. They have weathered the storm and they are now bringing it. Clement flexing muscles to make sure as he gives and goes there, and you see another look. He left the picture with a hat and will rejoin it without a hat.
I actually haven't seen him not lose the hat at any point. It's not a very secure piece of headgear, but it's the style.
Bucket hat style. You're gonna have to sell that one on me a little bit harder.
That's okay, I don't need to do it. It's not my thing either. I have one or two, but I would never play Frisbee with it, really.
That's good news.
The only thing I love is a visor. And I know I have to sell people on that as well.
That one's an easier sell on me, that's for sure. I can handle visors. I started back in the day with the old rubber Velcro visor. They were awesome. I'd wear it upside down and call it a rain catcher.
That's nice.
There's nothing else it was really doing except wrapping around my head. Didn't really block much sun when you put a visor upside down.
That's true.
I'm trying to remember the brand. It's not coming to me, but it will.
So France putting the disc into play quickly. Godon. Goes to Mandla. Into the middle to Cheret. Godon again. And they're working through that zone, moving the disc quickly and with enough patience for the cup to set up, and in the right moment go away again. Mandlin on this far side gives and goes, gets it back in front of the end zone. Goes back patiently to Philumi. And now on the other side and jumping it in, at least trying to, but this jump makes it all the way. Mandlin with the score provided by Caligaro.
9-7, French take their time with that one. Needed that one. That's a bleed stopper. After 3 in a row conceded, they bring it back to within a 2-point game, but still need 2 breaks to be in the driver's seat. Chabot getting some words from the coach of encouragement at this stage, but maybe some dropped heads on this young French side. And it's these types of games that really test a junior side. These under 20s have probably not, the bulk of them, not been in too many situations of this kind of pressure, playing for their national teams, playing together to try and overcome. And, well, it's amazing to watch. That's why we're streaming it, because love seeing how they can respond. There's the look at the total passes. French are throwing it around more for a little bit less. That's a bit of a show of the efficiency of the Hungarian zone as well. So
indeed, it's a combination of the zone and the daring shots that the French have not really taken, but the Hungarians thrive on.
yeah, you're right there. The over-efficient big throws that the Hungarians will give time to time that the French have just remained a bit shy of today.
Offside called by the Hungarians, I believe, which gives them the favorable position of favorable position of starting at the break point instead of that very good pull that landed on the side in the end zone.
So French, a little bit carelessness there on the pull, have given another advantage to the Hungarians.
Mighieri. And the near run through. Batot keeps it in her hands. Lennart.
The throw a little bit too far that time. And the French will now go the other way. And they try to keep one in bounds, and it bounces off the hands of Heruard as the Hungarians take back over once again. And Mighieri calls the timeout. We're gonna take a break too and get right out of here. Leave you with these words from our sponsors. We'll be right back. The Hungarians in there for a quick score after the timeout. Makes it 10-7, and they're putting the foot down. 19 minutes remaining in this game. A very efficient finish. Here's another look.
Works? All right. Yeah, indeed, a quick finish for the Hungarians. One pass offense, just the one you want if you're a fan of the Hungarian side, and they get the point on the board. 10-7 in favor of them now. Good use of a timeout as well.
Hungarian coach sporting the LeBron James, King James shirt for the occasion. Braun. Is he still elite or is he too old?
So France back on offense. That pull landed over the head of Perez, but he could rule it in regardless. Fallour. Back to Perez. Monera and Perez going every other. Still giving and going. That disc fluttering off the wind and a hand block by Takash gets Hungary another break opportunity there.
One more break and we could be heading for frozen drinks. Let's see if we get the goods. Preservation of greatness there, given right back by Takas. Again, no, not Takas.
Monera running to pick up that disc. Gets it into Perez. Fallour. And Perez going every other, and that's an end zone with a big layout, but the French hold on to it. Maybe a bit late, that layout.
Late but never dangerous. I don't think he was gonna make contact, but breathing down the neck there was the only chance left for the Hungarians. Fernandez tried to put or Clement tried to put as much pressure as he could on Fernandez before he hung on to that goal. And we'll get another look at the turnover that got them there. And here comes the goal. Perez sets it up, and Perez throws the wide angle throw. Here comes the wide angle throw. You'll see Clement already in the picture. And the toe drag for the goal by Luis Fernandez. And the French needed that one. Were denied the pleasure of 7-Eleven, but the French don't mind denying me my frozen drink to get themselves one step closer.
You've got a whole week of Ultimate to get those frozen drinks all over.
Yeah. We're gonna get some more 7-Elevens, that's for darn tootin' sure.
That pull pinning the Hungarians on the side, but they're quick to pick it up. Takash looking for Clement, and a layout through the body, but
Hungarians, Tagas goes to that one for goal. Takas gets down and picks it up. And the Hungarians looking sharp here, 11-8. They couldn't get 11 against 7, but they can do it against 8. A 3-goal lead, time ticking away, 14 minutes remaining. And I'm not sure if that is enough for the French to come back. As we say in this sport, there's always time to come back if you can just keep scoring. But the French haven't been able to break the Hungarians since the first 2 points of the game. And that is not going to bode well if they can't find another way in here. There's a look at Clement and his bucket hat. He's ready to pull for the Hungarians. Hungary, again, came out just a little bit slow, but have been gradually increasing the pressure all game long and are in a very nice position. You could say they're 4 away from winning, but it may well be less than that because of the clock. That one goes out the back, and Godon will walk it to the front line. So it didn't go right out the back, or he'd be walking to the brick mark. It must have landed in and slid out. French get it to Maillard. Now it's Mendy. into Maillard. Again, Maillard sends deep. A little bit too deep. Yes, the run stops, and there's no catch-up in sight for the French on that one, and the Hungarians will get another look as the hatless Clement marches his front bandana to the line. He's gone big right away. Halas underneath, but too far in front. The 2-7 shirts chasing against each other to try and get there, but no one able to make the play. Now back inside, the French bounce to Negre. Oh, and picked off and smacked to the ground before the next pass could go. Picked up Megatti, looking like he was in a scuba stance there, but then drops back to Clement. High release, knocked away emphatically by Mehdi. Now shot deep, the chase is on, Pinheiro, and Clement takes it away again. What a play by the big Hungarian to catch up all that ground and taketh away from Pinheiro. Now come the Hungarians and another bid. Great play again by Mendy.
Test. We back? All right.
And Hungary will pick it up. Christina, what a sequence.
Yeah, it's been a messy point at that. And the French with a red zone opportunity, and they are very good at those. Maillard on the far side, fakes the hammer, goes high release, back and around. And now they're working it up the field. What a good continuation. Ups against the first one. Clement was watching for it in the backfield, and goes Negre. Goes over to the other side to Mondelin. And that quick pass into the end zone is dropped. Maillard maybe just a bit too happy finding it there. And Clement always guarding the backfield will walk the disc towards the goal line again. And calls a timeout in a funky fashion. Well, that was very interesting, the way he moved quickly for the last 2 steps just to put it in quickly. And now they're taking a break, as are we, and we'll be back with you after those messages.
We live in a world where everything can be referenced online. Imagine if the greatest moments in our sport were never filmed. Eurodisc continues to do what it takes to make free-to-watch live streams a reality. Let's leave nothing to the imagination. We'll consume the action live, and we'll support those that help to make it happen. If it wasn't streamed, it didn't happen. Eurodisc.
What a grab! Oh my, somehow they do it!
We are a group of ultimate players, coaches and video enthusiasts. We've worked with the major federations and the greatest events.
We're on a mission to make Ultimate huge. We want our videos and live streams to be free to watch,
We want to make stories that not only reach you,
but also reach people outside the Ultimate community.
Like and subscribe, ULTI.TV, the best in the world.
Become a member and
and
fund
our
our work.
to cover more events in the future and to bring more stories and live coverage to the eyes of the ultimate world and beyond.
We are back live after that timeout and the funky finish to curl it from Clement, who will pick the disc up to start the possession and the potential break for the Hungarians. 7 minutes and a bit left on the game clock, and what a interesting start to it. Launching it deep, 2 players underneath it, and the catch by the second player on there. And that's not quite a score yet. And Halas, that is a very open in the back. Does not quite score it yet, and another violation again.
Vasari Makladi there after the drop from Megeri. Little Jenny on the spot there in the right place, chasing down the same huck and preserved the possession. Puts Hungary in a very good situation here. That one, you know, when it goes off the hands of the intended receiver like that, you count it as should be a turnover. And yet here they are, because of her persistence, still with the disc and a chance to go up by 4 with less than 7 minutes remaining.
I'm not always a fan of too many people running onto these deep shots, but in this case, that really saved the possession for Hungary. And the discussion will be finished, and Mixa will have the disc back in his hand. Miksha, rather. Just on the goal line. We are on the mark. Clement. And a scuba over the top for Clement, and that's going to work somehow.
Somehow is right. Clement getting a little bit over suave out there, thinking he can get away with anything, and he's probably going to keep thinking that now that he's got away with anything again. He put it right on top of a tall receiver. Kudos to that, backing your teammates. But a speculative throw for goal. But the Hungarians do score another goal here. It's 12-8. They are a minimum of 3 away and 4 in front. And this could spell trouble for the French.
Indeed, they've been in the driver's seat for most of that second half, and adding another break to the 2 they've already gotten earlier in the half. 12-8 seems like a very hard task for the French to get back on.
Yeah, deep hole to dig themselves out. I think we will see 2 points maximum before we reach our time cap. Even if the Hungarians scored both of them, well, then we would play to 15. And, well, then it would be all but over at 14-8, let's say. But say the French score 2 in a row here, make it 12-10 in a game to 13, then I see some hope. But the French are going to need to, at minimum, score a hold here and then find a break before time expires. And then I'll find that belief.
Agreed. We'll see what happens. And we'll just watch the French play it through that Hungarian zone. Charay. Turabod. Caligaro, and over to that near side. Ellwood, and a miscommunication. Clap catches next to the disc, not on the disc. Hungary with that break chance to make the distance even bigger between those 2 teams. Takash to Kubek, and Takash goes up the line but can't quite keep her fingers around the disc. Godon to pick up inside shot, and switching the field position by a lot, making that Hungarian zone run over the top, just inches away from the defender, but caught by Charay. Oh, and what a layout. Filemi keeps her hands around it, and now an uncontested accepted foul for that dish. That was a bit too much contact, bobbled, and will stay with Caligaro. Leroy jumping it in is not quite there yet in time, and 5 Hungarian players around 1 French. And that is a score. That all happened so quickly. Putting it back to Godon, and then Filemi with the sticky fingers, one-handed grab on the goal line to get that score to make it 12-9.
Yeah, a bit of quick movement there after the 5-player cup. Did a pretty good job of surrounding the French player. The dish back to Godon was just enough, and he wasted 0 time firing it back into the corner of the end zone for the goal. 12-9. As we have another look at a few of the sequences throughout that play. There's the bobble and recatch. A beautiful play there by Filemi. And here is the get out of trouble, get out of that zone by Ellwood. And the very, very quick release going back into the end zone, Godon to Filemi. So 1 minute 12 remaining. Points cap will be decided on this point. I'm saying it now. Prove me wrong out there. Hungary score in less than a minute. As you see Filemi's stat line up there, but in most normal situations, this next 49 seconds now will decide the final score of this game.
There is a discussion about the gender. Of course, we're playing by the ABBA rule, having A being 4 male matching and 3 female matching, and B being 4 female matching, 3 male matching. You would have 1 gender the one time, then 2 points with the other gender having 4 people on the field, and then going back to the first. Continuing that. Causes some difficulty at times. And that pull in the back of the end zone, beautifully put there, and Dakash in the back. Kolanat.
Time cap's been reached. We're now playing extra, so this will be a game to 13 or 14, depending on who scores here.
Dakash gets it back again. Up the line to Kokai. Who now finds Kolanaj. And they're just working it up the line. French not very good at defending that space apparently. Or the Hungarians just taking chances, and they put it in using just 10 meters of width of the field. And I do think that's a score. A bit of communication about that, but in the end, just gets it and celebrates. Do you believe that was Kokai?
Yes. And a little bit of disparity. That will be a game to 14 now. A big lead for the Hungarians. It'll be a lot to climb back from 13-9 currently. And a game to 14. So the task is set. 5 in a row for the French, or succumb to losing.
Well, I don't think they'll give up without a fight.
No, but
And
the fight has to be 5 in a row.
Yeah,
or
that
it's
is
trouble.
That is quite a big task to ask for, especially in that first game of the tournament. You want to fire everything now, or maybe just wait until the later stages to put your all in, if it even works. another drone shot off that field here. Eurodisk, best perspective. Eurodisk, of course, the official partner of the European Ultimate Federation, also our sponsor, giving you those beautiful drone shots. As Clement sets the pull for the Hungarians, and there is offside called, but the disc has already been fielded and the pass had been thrown. And I don't know.
It
exactly.
depends on when the offside was called.
I'm not 100% on those rules, and maybe there's something different that's...
But I think, is gender matched up here?
I see 3 women on the Hungarian side, I think. And then 4 male matching players.
I think I see the same on the French side.
Yeah, so I'm not so sure. Also, offside, I think, can only be called by players on the field.
It can be indicated to the teammates. One of the French coaches has come onto the field to...
Ah, the wrong person pulled.
Ah.
Because Clement pulled. No, that can't be it. I think Clement pulled. It is the wrong... Okay, I am confused now. We're going to wait what they discuss and then...
I think that is right. It was meant to be a female pull and a male pulled.
And Hungary did put the wrong gender as well. We see Kolar not taking the field now, but I didn't catch it.
So maybe it was a double mistake. They just started the point with 4 males on for both teams when it should have been female. But that's a tough one once the pulls up. I mean, you got to respect the ABBA. That takes precedent. As soon as these are the ones we want to get done before those pulls get up, that stuff should be recognized. But here we go again.
Pull fielded by the French, and already at midfield, Perez to Chantron, Falor, and a layout to keep possession alive. Cruza not quite there to catch that disc near the ground. Halas. Kokai. Kokai puts it up into space, and a toe drag. That is a score. And I believe the win for Hungary. In what kind of a fashion that they close out that game. Miscommunications with the gender, and then putting it up there and a toe drag for the score.
From 6-6 just after half to 13-9, that makes it a 7-3 second half run for the Hungarians. They started off a little bit slowly. As we take a look at these highlights that finish things off, there is Tot dragging the line there to make sure that one stays in to get the game winner. The Hungarian side, it was mentioned earlier that they are a bigger side. The French doing what they can to try and deal with this bigger group of junior players. And there's some coaches on the field right now with a little bit of further discussion. I'm not quite sure what it's about. And the delayed reaction, they win.
I think maybe not everyone was aware that that was for the win.
We need perhaps a little bit more audible whistling from the timekeeping crew and indications from them. But we've got it all worked out right here on ULTI.TV. We're thankful that you are with us and watching. And another reminder before we get into these match stats to like, subscribe, become a patron and follow us on every social media avenue. Do that. Christina, these match stats, what's the big difference there? I mean, looks to me the bottom of the chart there on the left-hand side.
It is indeed the 17 break chances compared to 8, but also the 6 out of the 17s that were converted into breaks makes all the difference. And 4 of those 6 were done in the second half, so Hungary just firing in that second half of it.
So yeah, looking at these clean holds as well, a couple extras there, 3 more for the Hungarians. Again, that all happening in the second half. I think we mentioned their clean holds. They had 1 clean hold to end the second half, or end the first half, and then they got 2 to start the game. We're going to see if we can get ourselves a chat here. It looks like we will. It is
Abel Chilag, 55.
Abel Chilag is coming to sit down, have a chat with Christina about his impact in the game.
It's a bit big. Can we make it? Okay, okay, great.
So I'm talking with Abel Chilag. Now, you told us before the game you have 1 goal here to win. How did it feel going down at the beginning of the game?
It's feel very bad. We thought we will be better, but we get the flow, we get our player mentality better, so I think we did a great job in the end. We need to make the beginning better, but I think it was a great match.
I think so too. A lot of highlight plays. Do you know what your favorite play was on overall in the game?
Maybe the deep shot that Clement throws to Oliver Magyari.
Yeah.
I think that was my favorite point.
The one that the female matching player caught, and then the garbage rather at the end of the game already. And so winning this first game, how are you going to proceed today, and what's your goal for today, tomorrow? Just maybe start into the game better, or are you gonna adjust?
I think it was a great start to start the tournament. For today goal is to get 2 win. I think we could do. I don't know. Another goal is to not get any player injured.
Right.
And feeling good. And
talking about injuries, you said you had a bit of an ankle that wasn't quite holding up. How did you play? How was your time on the field?
No, I don't play.
You didn't play.
I have a ligament tear. I got it in Limerick, so I don't think I played too many points in the tournament, but I want to play a few points.
Okay.
But it was 2 weeks ago, so it was tough
quite
for
close
me,
still.
yeah.
All right. So thank you very much for being here with us. Thank you, and good luck for the rest. I'll wish you the best to recover quickly, and good luck for the rest of the tournament to all of you.
Thank you.
So you heard it here. Abel Chilag, also a part of that European senior team for the Hungarian side that went to Limerick 2 weeks ago. Wasn't sure he was going to play or not, and decided not to now, but the way Hungary ended up playing and getting into that game a bit later, just what we are used to from European world champions, actually.
Yeah, the Hungarians looking good in the end. a slow start, but came roaring back. If you take those 2 points off to start the game, it's a 14-7 run from that point, essentially going 2 for 1 on the French after a very hot French start. So I think that's about all we're going to have time for here. We're going to take a break, Christina.
Yeah, I haven't ever had that, I think. We're taking a heat break, and we will be back at 4 p.m. for live coverage of the men's division, open division actually. The Netherlands taking on, I'll have it in a second, taking on Ireland. And then later in the day at 6 p.m. we will have Germany GB in the women's division. So take a break with us, but come back at 4 and 6 to get more action.
Non-stop excitement here on ULTI.TV.
So thank you for tuning in. For Steph Rapazzo, I've been Christina Obermeyer, and we will be back later in the afternoon.